nations in the Bible when you read it. Out of those 18 nations, where do you find Mexicans? Yeah, where do you find Mexicans in those 18 nations? You can Google search Mexican in Bible, Bible scripture, Mexican. Yeah. Nowhere to be found. You can look up Negro. That name is not found in the Bible. Look up Panamanian, not found in the Bible. But if we believe the Bible is to be a true book, then those people got to be from somewhere. They have to have an origin. All right. So that's what we're here to teach. That's basically what we teach. It's all based on scripture. So if you got any questions, anybody got questions that's hearing us and they want to ask something, bring it out. We definitely don't run from no questions. All right, not nothing that you're gonna ask that we ain't gonna be able to find the answer to in this book.
So you're saying within the books there's no Mexican?
No, there's no name. The name Mexican is not there. So the question is, who are those people? Who were those people back then? Because we know who they are now. We know they dwell in between, Central and North America. We know they right there in the gap. But who are they? Who were they? Who are So for example, what's your nationality?
Mexican.
So-called Mexican, right? So, what does that name mean?
I really don't know.
What about you, my brother? If you don't mind me asking. You said black, right? So, what about you, bro? Nationality, what race?
American.
American, right? So, American, and you can say, I understand. Look, now the thing is, he said black. I'm gonna use that one for example. Black, right? What color are your shorts?
Black.
What color are my shoes?
Black.
Where is the land of black? A person can say, oh, it's Africa, bruh. But did y'all know who is Africa named after? You know who that is? Africa is named after a so-called Caucasian man by the name of Leo Scipio Africanus. A Roman general. You look him up. You can check him out on your phone right now. So when you see this thing and you say, well, I'm calling myself African based on that name, that's not our people. That's not who we derive from. All right. So for the so-called Mexicans, the name actually comes from Mexica or Messiah. That's what it means. But when you look at the Mexicans, who's the Mexican Messiah right now?
I can't name one.
Who was the last Mexican Messiah? I mean, you got Cesar Chavez. He stood up. You know what I'm saying? He stood up and worked and fought for the people. Yeah. But who's doing it now?
If I was to say one, probably the governor of Nuevo Leon.
So you got the governor, right? They might be standing up and doing something, but on the day-to-day basis, are they affecting the lives of the so-called Mexicans? Look at what's going on at the border.
Not in America, because they haven't bridged that gap.
So the question from there is, so since we talked about that, not knowing who those people are, that's something that we find in the Bible. And that's how we start bridging the gap between what we know now and what we have here. Because you go to church? So have you ever been?
Yeah.
So for most so-called Mexicans, what was the religion that they were striving? Catholic, right?
Yeah.
Catholicism was given to them by who?
Cortez.
Hernan Cortez. In 1503. That's a long time ago. But at that time, did we read English?
No.
Did we read Spanish?
At that time, the Spaniards did, but not the Mayans.
All right, we're getting somewhere. So the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas, the so-called, he said American, so-called Native Americans, which I'm one, we didn't have those languages. So what they did, they gave us the doctrine, but they didn't give us the Bible. They didn't give us the scripture and what it's actually saying, all right? So I want you to do this. Give me Isaiah, and if you got any questions, anybody got questions, ask the question. We're here for that. Because this meeting is not just about us spewing scriptures at you. We want to know what y'all think about Killeen. What's going on in Killeen? What's going on in our communities that we can fix? And back in the day, the barbershop was the spot for all the people to come and have common ground. So we're trying to bring that back. We're trying to open that back up in 2024 so we can really have these conversations and see how to fix the communities that we're in. All right? So give me Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3.
Book of Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3.
Okay.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel do not know.
Okay.
My people do not consider.
So what we do with the Bible, we don't just read the Bible and just start hooping and hollering, because that's what happens in a lot of Christian churches. I used to be a musician in the church, As soon as you read one or two scriptures, close the Bible, we start singing, we start shouting, we start paying our money. That's not what we're here to do. Right now, we're here to really break down the Bible piece by piece. And if you got a question, we're going to stop right there until you get your answer. Read it one more time.
The ox knoweth his owner.
So the ox knoweth his owner. The ox knows who he belongs to, right? Go ahead.
The ass his master's crib.
And the ass is a donkey, like a mule, right? It said he knows his master's crib. He knows where his father's house or his master's house is, right?
But Israel.
But who?
But Israel.
But Israel
do not know. My people do not consider.
So my question is, if I ask, can I ask you questions while you're sitting there, sis? I got a question. If a Chinese man, I walk up to him and say, hey, where you from? What is he gonna tell me? I'm from China. Okay, a so-called Australian man. Hey, what's your nationality? I'm Australian. But when I ask the so-called Negroes in America, hey, what's your nationality? What my bro said, black. Do you agree? I know what you mean. I'm saying, but you know, because the thing is, you are older than 1985, right? What was they calling us before they called us Afro-American? Huh? Negro. Before that, they called us Negroid. They called us all types of names. But God said that His people don't, Who said that? God said His people don't know. All right, His people don't know. Read on. Neither.
My people do not consider.
They don't consider. So a lot of us, we walk around aimless like, hey, it don't really matter where I come from. Who cares about where I'm from? It just matters where I'm going. But if you don't know the back then, you're not gonna know where you're going and how to get there. Okay? So I want you to go to Deuteronomy 28 right quick. So a lot of the, I'm not gonna say arguments, but a lot of the basis, the foundation of what we teach is based on Deuteronomy 28. All right, so, 28, from 1, we go from 1 to 14, and then the main bulk is from 15 to 68. That chapter right there is a very pivotal chapter because, first of all, it's the Old Testament. Most Christian churches say, well, look, that's old times, that's things that happened back then. Let's deal with Christ. But did they have a New Testament when Christ was walking the earth? No. What was he reading from? He wasn't reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. He was living Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So he was reading everything before that. He was reading the Old Testament. He was reading the Apocrypha that we call now. For example, give me that in Luke. Which one you got?
Is it Luke?
Luke 4. Yeah, Luke 4. So I'm going to give you an example. So this is something that Christ was reading even back then. Go ahead.
The book of Luke, chapter 4 and verse
16.
Yes, sir. Verse 16. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up.
All right.
And as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day.
So even right then, Christ's custom was to go into the synagogue or the temple on the Sabbath day. What's the Sabbath day? What is it? Huh? It's the seventh day. That's true. You're right. Right. What is it though? What day of the week is the seventh day? You said Sunday.
Saturday, but it's on Saturday.
Who said that? The first day of the week is Sunday. Right. We getting there now, right? But wait, this the thing. The so-called Catholic Church, they pushed that on us. They forced that on us. Hernan Cortez in 1503, they put that on us. All right. Read it again. As was his custom, that part.
Yes, sir. As his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day. And stood up to read.
All right.
And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Isaiah.
Stop. It said the book of the prophet Isaiah. Now this is the Greek portion where they translated the New Testament from Greek. Isaiah is actually Isaiah. So Christ was reading Isaiah. So if a so-called Christian now, they say, hey, well, that's Old Testament. Old Testament was good enough for Christ, so it's definitely good enough for us.
That's right.
All right? So I'm going to give you an example of something that Christ knew to happen, and then we'll read it in the Old Testament, all right? Give me Luke 21. Luke 21. This is just basic stuff that we always talked about it. Christ knew about it, but now, a couple thousand years later, we have no idea what it's talking about. Okay? Come on.
Luke chapter 20 and Luke chapter 21 verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
Oh, it says, so when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies. That's where they dwelt. That's where they were living at that time. When you shall see that area surrounded by armies,
then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
go ahead.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
So if I'm in the city, why would I run away? What would make me, we're in Killeen, a city that's surrounded by military base. What would make me leave? She said everything. Read that first part again. Because we got to make it plain. We got to remember these, we got to put faces to the people.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies,
There's going to be armies surrounding Jerusalem. Know that what?
then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Know that that destruction that was prophesied back here is here now. Know that everything you read back here, the destruction that God said was going to come, it's here now when you see those armies come passing, right? Go ahead.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Come on.
And let them which are in the midst thereof it depart out.
So don't, if you're in the midst of Jerusalem, if you was around, leave. Get out of there. Why? Because desolation was coming. Destruction was coming. Read.
And let not them that are in the countries enter into.
So if you already left, don't come back. What you got?
I'm just saying amen.
Oh, I like that. I'm with that. And look, if you got questions too, because you just walked in. If you got questions, ask away.
Amen.
And keep going then.
24 hours.
Verse 22.
Come on.
For these be the days of vengeance.
These be the days of vengeance what?
That all things which are written may be fulfilled.
That's the point. All things that were written where? Let me go to Matthew 1 and just hold it.
Matthew 1.
Yeah, well, just hold the page. All things that were written back here. I want you to hold the Bible up. Look at it. This is the New Testament. This is the Old Testament. So you telling me I'm supposed to start reading right here and get the full understanding? Show it to my brother. I'm supposed to start reading right here and get the full understanding. What book do you open in the middle and just you think you're gonna be able to take the test on it and pass? Everybody got a driver's license in here? Everybody drive? Did you open up your driver's manual and start reading in the middle? Why? Why not?
Not where you want to start.
Why not though? What would be the significance of not starting in the middle?
I guess to give you a backstory, I'm sure I've never even looked at a Bible like that.
Okay, you got your license, right? Was there literature that you had to read to get your license?
Yeah.
Did you start reading that literature in the back of the book?
No.
Why not? It's gonna be techniques, it's gonna be things that you're gonna miss that was talked about in the front.
Right.
You're not gonna have the full scope of how to be a barber, how to be a hairstylist, how to be what is it? The comforter of the people. When they come in and they sit in your chair, they comfortable because they know that you know from front to back of your expertise. Our expertise was supposed to be the Bible. Our expertise was supposed to be how to live and walk and teach the things that's written herein. All right. So Deuteronomy 28, and we'll go to verse 15. If you got any questions so far? No. All right.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 15.
Come on.
But it shall come to pass.
No, go to verse 1. We'll start at verse 1. So, like, my brother, I didn't get your name? Chris. All right, so when Chris was asking, he said, what verse are we starting at in that Deuteronomy 28? The main focus is 15 through 68, because that's what we see going on in our communities. But we'll start at verse 1 so you can see what it's supposed to look like. All right?
Deuteronomy 28, verse 1.
Come on.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So stop right there. That's a mouthful, right? So we're not going to just pass it and we just read it and like, okay, next verse. We're going to go piece by piece. Read it one more time. We're going to take it slow.
And it shall come to pass.
So it shall come to pass. So if I say, hey, it shall come to pass, what am I saying? What am I saying?
I guess be true.
It shall be true when?
I guess whenever all these things happen.
Okay.
When it meets the criteria.
Are those things going to happen right then and there?
I guess it'd be to look out for them.
When? You saying it, but you're not saying it. When? To look out for them when? If I say, it shall come to pass, Wednesday, it's going to rain. It's Monday, I'm saying it's going to come to pass Wednesday. What am I saying?
It's going to rain.
When?
Wednesday.
later on in the future. All right, so it said, it shall come to pass.
If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy
So
God.
if you shall hearken, the word hearken, the root word is hear, H-E-A-R, hear. If you shall listen, hearken diligently to the voice of the Lord our God.
To observe and to do all his commandments.
Go ahead.
Which I command thee this day.
Okay.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So that's one thing that we don't talk about, because it's still written there. It was written there the whole time. This Bible don't change, God don't change.
Right.
It said that if we did what God said, if we took care of the things that he said to take care of, keeping the commandments, that he would set us on high above everybody else on earth. Now, does that sound just or unjust?
Just.
It sounds just, right? Now, when you look at our condition, we're going to read a couple more of these. These are the good things that was going to happen if we did the things that he told us to do. This is what it was going to look like for us. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on thee.
If we listened and did what he said, all these what?
And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee.
Okay.
If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Go ahead.
Blessed shall thou be in the city.
Okay.
And blessed shall thou be in the field.
So, what is a blessing? What do you call a blessing? What is something that you would see as a blessing?
Life.
So just you being alive.
Being alive.
But what about the brothers that's living under the bridge in Austin on 6th Street?
Different blessings.
Different blessings. So life is one. So you say I'm alive. Okay, that's a blessing. But what does a blessing look like for us as a community, as a whole? Go ahead, bro. You got it.
Being a community is a blessing. But being connected as a community.
He just said something. We're gonna dig into that in a minute. He said being connected in the community is a little bit different than just being there. So you got a place to live, you got life, breath in your body, you got a way to eat, eat and pay your bills and all this different stuff, right? Whatever. Read on.
Verse 4. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy ground.
So the things that come out of us, our body, our children, it's talking about them. They're gonna be blessed. The things that come out of our ground when we plant our food and we have our resources, it's gonna come up and it's gonna be blessed. It's gonna flourish. Do that look like what you see in our communities now? Not really, right? Read on.
And the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Now, this one specifically, I want you to go to verse 12.
Sir.
Go to verse 12, and this one is going to hit home. Because everybody in here got a vehicle, everybody in here got bills to pay, everybody in here got something that they're responsible to take care of. Read that.
Verse
And
12.
this is your spot, right?
Yeah.
You own the building?
No.
So that means you got to pay something. You had to pay somebody something to be able to be here. Let's go.
Verse 12. The Lord shall open up unto you his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season.
Go ahead.
And to bless all the work of thy hands.
So everything we do was supposed to be blessed. If we did what?
Follow his writing.
His writing. So, yes, there you go. You said it. To keep his commandments. All right, read on.
And thou shalt lend unto many nations.
So us as a people, and I say us as a people, I'm talking about
Us as a nationality.
yes. And who are those people?
I would say from the perspective that we're at, or what we're indoctrinated with, would be the black community, Hispanic community, the white community. As a nation, what we come to understand collectively.
Yeah.
But seeing how it says the black, Hispanics, Native Americans.
Well, and when we make that separation. Why do you think we make that separation?
Nationality.
But based on what?
The text.
Okay, so it's based on the text that those people are the same people.
Because they're not, I don't think it's referring to land as much as it is referring to culture, to what we perceive as culture.
You said it. What we perceive as culture, what we do, or how we move, the way that we act as a people, that's what it's talking about. Because you see this going well for the ranchers all around Texas. You see how they flourishing. I see one fence line from 195 all the way to Georgetown, one fence line. But before that was his fence line, it was my people's land. Right. That was his people's land. That was your people's land. What was Texas before it was Texas?
Before it was Texas, I mean, it was Mexico.
Okay.
All right.
Why is it not Mexico no more? All the way up to
Forfeited.
Nah, we didn't forfeit it. They stole it.
Right.
They took it. Now look, I'm gonna make this very plain when we get to this next part. But it said, "You shall lend as a nation shall lend to many nations." So it said that they was gonna be coming to us for resources.
This is what lenders and not borrowers, right?
Woo! Hey, you said it. You said Chris, right?
Yeah.
Chris said it.
That's my favorite verse.
Hey, go ahead. What you got?
And real quick, as we go over the Bible, there's a lot of things that is going to be brought out that may be controversial. A lot of things that you may feel cautious of opening up, but it's facts. Facts is that the conquistadors conquered the Hispanics. It's facts. It's not that we're just making it up. It's historical facts. We've been to school. We've been to college. We know what facts are. And the Bible is not about emotions. The Bible has nothing to do with emotions. It's just stating the facts. The facts is that we was a nationality of people, and because we disobeyed God's laws, like the officer is bringing out, therefore when we disobeyed God's laws, they conquered us. Christopher Columbus had the Bible when he came over here, knowing that the Native Americans were in idolatry, and when we are in the midst of sin, all the other nations know is they can conquer us. The only thing is because we've been destroyed in slavery for so long, we don't have an identity who we are. We don't have an identity who the enemy is. We don't have an identity where we're going. We're just African Americans. And with that spirit of African American and Mexican gives a spirit of partying, gives a spirit of whoremongering, gives a spirit of drunkenness, gives a spirit of Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all these customs that have been forced upon our people in slavery. It has nothing to do with the Bible. So when the officer is going over certain things, they may be controversial, they may stick or hit a certain point because they're hitting our ancestors, they're hitting the culture that we've been through, the struggles that we've been through. So we really need y'all to open up and ask questions, because when I look around in Killeen, we're at the bottom. When I look in Chicago, we're at the bottom. We have the highest rate of murder. We have the highest rate of diabetes, high blood pressure, abortions is millions and millions. Millions and millions of our women are killing the babies today. But these are controversial questions and answers that we're trying to bring to our people that nobody wants to talk about. They want to sleep it on, put it under the rug, and they don't want to deal with it. But we have to deal with it because we want to move. The trend of just being African American is over. Gods are being built on the face of this planet. And we're reaching out to our people who are unaware with it and say, look, just like I got put on game, I'm trying to put you on game because we've been finessed for too long. You understand?
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word, His word, His word.